section, we have heard that there have been changes in the budget. The budget has brought in the change with respect to GST audit. Very, very hot topic, and always been a hot topic because of the extensions which are being brought in. 11th hour we got in extension worth 1920 audit. We all were slogging and just trying to close the audits, getting calls from the clients, but still last minute we got the extension. But yes, GST audit again is one of the hot topics, always in discussion, whether in terms of the issues which the industry is facing, whether in terms of the timelines within which it has to be completed. Lately, there is some changes that has come to the in the law or proposed in the law with respect to GST audit. Before I come to my panelists from the industries, I'll request Tushar, the founder partner of Tattvam, to give some, for the interest of the audience which is there on the on this webinar, if you can give us some brief about this entire activity of audit, how the industries they are, the industry people are working on it, how the chartered accountants are, what is the role that they are playing into it, what is the change that is being introduced, and how do you foresee that this change is going to change the life of the taxpayers in the long run? Over to you, Tushar.
Hi, thanks everyone, and good evening to everyone. When we talk about GST audit, it basically comprises of two forms, GSTR 9 and GSTR 9C. So GSTR 9 and 9C cumulatively captures all kinds of reconciliations within the organization, which can be broadly classified into two parts. First is my outward reconciliation, whether whatever revenue is there in my financials, I have reported the same in my returns and there is a proper record or not. And second is my input reconciliations, vis-a-vis input taken in 3B and what is appearing in my books as well as what has been paid by the supplier. So 9 and 9C is always an opportunity to find any error which have been committed during the year and rectify the same in 9 and 9C. When we talk about GSTR 9, it is the responsibility of the management to prepare GSTR 9. And when we talk about 9C, 9C is something which has to be prepared by the auditor, a chartered accountant or a cost accountant, and he needs to certify 9C, which is the reconciliation of books with your returns. So after the annual return is ready, they give it to the chartered accountant to actually prepare 9C, making reconciliation with books of accounts. So what has been proposed in this budget is not actually scrapping of audit at all. What has been proposed in budget is only scrapping of the signing part by the chartered accountant. In fact, the company has to prepare GSTR 9. Even the reconciliation tables which were there in 9C, the same will be incorporated in GSTR 9 only. So whatever work was being done earlier, the same will continue to work in future also. Ultimately, we have to prepare GSTR 9. We have to prepare 9C also, that reconciliation part also, which will be incorporated in GSTR 9. The entire workflow will remain same. Only the signature is not required by a chartered accountant. So it's like a level playing field. So an expert is needed. It may be an internal expert within the organization. It may be an external expert in form of chartered accountants or lawyers, so on and so forth. They have been provided a level playing field. So the entire work of 9 and 9C will continue as it is. What I personally feel is more important while doing GST audit is not only closing of reconciliation statement, but also carrying out a complete health checkup for the clients. It is very imperative for the accountants, chartered accountants, to not to limit themselves to reconciliations only, but to look at the legal provisions also, to look at the business transactions and see whether those business transactions are in consonance with GST law or not, whether I have correctly availed ITC, whether my rate of tax is correct or not, whether there is an opportunity by which I can structure my transaction in such a manner that I can get some kind of tax benefits, a proper tax planning opportunities. So it is very imperative to understand the business of the client fully, have knowledge of GST law, and apply that to all the business transactions to ensure that any gap is taken care of and any opportunity which can be found out for the clients. Apart from that, another important area which I want to highlight is that this amendment, the most topic of GST audit, in this budget, like this has been scrapped, is being scrapped, etc. We all should remember that no amendment can be brought in budget without GST Council approval. So GST is now, all amendments are now driven by the GST Council meetings and their approval. In fact, in March 2020, when 39th Council meeting was there, conducted, in that meeting itself, if we see the minutes of the meeting, which was circulated last year only, they had specifically said that the section 35 will be abolished and section 44 will be amended. And that minutes, if we see the minutes of the meeting, this amendment was even passed by the GST Council. So the most of the amendments which we are talking of, GST amendments in budget sessions, these were actually approved by GST Council last year only. However, it never gained too much of attention of the taxpayers or of the professional. Now in this budget, we are talking more in respect of such audits, so etc. And another important point I want to highlight before we move to the panelists is that, as rightly said by Amitabh sir also, that we are still in transit. This budget has to be approved. This amendment has to be notified. The first step will be passing of Finance Act. The second step will be all the states have to pass this amendment. The entire states and union territory have to pass this amendment. And the third stage will be notifying the amendment. If we see the past trend, not even a single amendment got notified the very same year of budget. Not even a single amendment. It always takes the next year. So even for this particular year, if we see the past trend, even if this budget amendment is notified, it may be notified only in January 2022. That is next year. So hopefully, even for financial year 2021, we may have to undertake GST audit exercise.
Correct. Yes, sir.
I will like to add something. On a lighter note, I think ये भी आत्मनिर्भर भारत का कॉन्सेप्ट यहाँ लाया गया है कि उनको एसएससी से उनको आत्मनिर्भर कर दिया जाए कि ऑडिटर की जरूरत ही ना पड़े. But I think उसके consequences जब आएंगे, I think the government will really repent its decision. And as was being told by Tushar, that obviously in this meeting, 39 council meeting, they discussed about this thing in greater detail. And with the kind of information they had, they thought that 9C is not useful. 9 is very useful. Like they said, 89% of the tax has been collected through 9. 11% of the tax has been collected through 9C. They don't understand in most of the cases, even in Webtel's own case, some additional amount was paid through 9 only, through DRC 03, so that 9C is clean. So I think the people at the helm have not been able to explain to these people that it's not that 9C collections have not been very huge because of this reason, because most of the payments are made through DRC 03, and that happens in 9 itself. So all these things should have been made clearer, or maybe even now, I think Institute and other relevant associations have represented to the council and the government. Probably, I think they will understand and it will be resumed.
Yes. Just to add, apart from this collections part, even while doing GSTR 9 and 9C exercise, the data gets collected in a very systematic manner, which is really helpful in undertaking departmental audits. So at present, when we are actually handling departmental audits of various clients, we actually, when we see 9, 9C and data being presented in a systematic manner, it is easier for the consultants as well as the department people, as well as the taxpayers at that point of time to actually able to get their audit done. So collation of data in a very systematic manner is also a very, very important role which is being played by 9 and 9C format.
And they may be thinking that 9 is being prepared by the client, which is not the case.
Even I was coming to that only, sir.
Go hand in hand.
I was coming to that only. I think
let me briefly add to this what Mr. Rajiv Khandelwal has just elaborated, that maybe entire compliance happens at the 9 juncture and nothing substantial happens at the 9C juncture. Then, sir, why not extend this analogy to other laws? Like income tax law. If my computation is good enough, why bother for 44AB? So this. The compliance is such, that an external agency has to ensure, like it was envisaged in our CA Act also. We are custodians to the governments for the taxation. So in one law, you are entirely doing away with the audit part, and the other acts you are still continuing with it. So I don't understand this dual nature of the legislation which is happening.
Correct.
So I just wanted to add this.
I was just saying that many of the practicing CAs prefer to do all these computations, etc., adjustments, etc., in 9 itself. Many others may be doing in 9C also, but many of them, and that is what the result, 89% tax collected through 9. That is what the government considered, and that is why they have thought it is better to abolish 9C, because
the same happens with computation of income as well, sir.
And why worry? There is not far when even tax audit will be abolished. Don't worry. Just wait for that day.
I think Shreji want to add on something. Shreji?
No. So I personally, I don't know, maybe, but I sometimes feel that this is not that straightforward as it appears to us. Abolishing 9C, I don't know whether they have some other motive behind it, because one can be what I think Rajiv ji is saying regarding the question that they see, but at the same time, do you feel that the department tomorrow can take a plea that you misreported or you suppress something and maybe sort of use or invoke the extended period? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's too hypothetical, but I'm just thinking that this can also be a reason behind what they're proposing.
In a democratic country, nothing happens without politics. So let's find that angle also, and it will not take too hard to find the political angle into this. So maybe some industries are stressed out already, and today only I was.
So you got muted.
Today only, I was reading in Mint. There was a news flash that probably the industry will gain 30,000 crores annually by abolition of this. This very section, I don't know who publishes and who suggests 30,000 crores. Huh? Yeah. I can flash it here. It says.
we never knew we earned so much.
Yeah. And my heart goes to my fraternity. This 30,000 crore belong to my own fraternity, so they'll lose on this 30,000 crores. And being in industry, I don't know of many people who are paying so dearly to an external GST auditor. I don't know, including myself. I'm not paying very heftily for this effort.
So I'll just add one point over here that what Rajiv sir was saying, that most of the changes or payments were being made through GSTR 9. I think government somewhere, I don't know what is the trigger point, but somewhere they have missed to appreciate the fact that it is just about the presentation. Whether you show it in 9 or 9C, at the end of the day, tax is being paid when it is being highlighted by an external expert. So that's where what Nanda sir said in the starting, that it is, what was the whole purpose of GST audit was getting into a maker-checker model. Normally, the person who's doing a regular compliance, there can be two aspects. Either he will find out his own mistakes and may try to hide it, because no one would want to highlight that I did a mistake in past and, I don't want to get it into the light. And sometimes people are sensitive enough, they understand the situation that it's okay, it's in monthly compliances, you tend to miss out on many things, there could be clerical errors. The only thing that I as a professional feel is that being in industry and when the person is doing compliances, if you have done something, you have done some mistake, there are very bleak chances that you will yourself find out those mistakes. That is where the external help, I feel, is required, that where some person who's sitting outside your system, who has not seen the basics or the basic transaction, comes out as an expert and looks into the transaction from the scratch, and then he sees and identifies the issues where the gaps are there and gives, like 9 has been given as a chance to make the changes. So, Dinesh sir, what do you feel? You really think that in the past 2 years, such external agencies coming and helping you have helped you to, identify the gaps and mend them at right point of time, and not waiting for the litigation to come where, things can go to the interest penalty, etc. What is your view on this?
Yeah, definitely, Geetika. I would second that, what Amitabh and Rajiv has just said. We need somebody to look at it, with a fresh pair of eyes. We are involved, in day-to-day activities, sometimes we understand the business need. And that's why, whosoever in the industry is taking a call. And every day, we need to take a call.
Correct.
Sometimes that call may look, very logical from the business standpoint. But if you look at it independently from the tax consultant standpoint, or he may be, acting as a devil's advocate, he may give you a different perspective that, if you look at this from the authorities' eyes, then it could be perceived as a wrong transaction or the wrong call taken by you. This is one. Second, I don't think that would be relevant directly from GST. But what I see, there was a bad perception got built up during the demonetization period for the CA fraternity. And I think these are the ripple effect of that. Because I have never heard that these any statutory audit, either being imposed or removed, considering the revenue collection attached to it. I heard in GST, since the collection, as Rajiv also mentioned, the collection is not that much. That's why the government is thinking to remove that. And he also mentioned, very soon we may see a day where the tax audit is also getting removed. Okay. And Amitabh rightly mentioned, if we have the computation, and also, we all are facing that whenever there is a tax audit, there are some points where we might have not withheld the tax correctly. Then we will withhold the tax, made the payment, it will never get reported. Okay. Then how the government is assessing how much collection they have done after the tax audit? Or is there any additional revenue collection with this statutory audit also? No, that is not there. Second, even, the GST is such a new subject. Even government is learning, right? Sometimes my IT department is so pissed off with me, especially for GST provision. We are not able to make them understand the earlier changes. And, you have another change. So they said we need to prioritize. So in this volatile, in this VUCA world, you need to have somebody who is expert, who can give you an expert advice that, okay, you need to take this call like this. Second, somebody, might have spent a number of years in the same industry. He might not be having that perspective that what is the best practice available in the industry. Right? So it is the consultant who is actually having a different perspective because he is dealing with different people. Right? So whether the glass is half full, half empty. So whenever I will, do an interpretation, I would be little, inclined towards the benefit, my self-benefit, that is human tendency.
Correct.
Right? But somebody who is independent will give you this different perspective also. Absolutely. So having such kind of audit is must to my understanding. Government should not remove that. And forget about the revenue, even if you want that people should be compliant. Right? Then how you make them compliant? Rather, and believe me, I know so many of my close friends are in practice. The kind of responsibility is there in the GST audit. They are not getting paid adequately. Right? Just because it is again, the government's fault is there. Sometimes you are extending the date. Everybody is aware that there is a date extension. And you yourself, Gitika, you and your team, was supporting us on this annual audit.
Yes.
You must have seen, n number of times there is the exchange of data, then the date got extended. Then the date got extended just for the annual audit, not for other compliances.
Correct.
You just leave that in between and you start working on the other.
Correct.
And then you need to come back on the annual audit. So, this should not be the objective. The government should done or behave with a clear objective, what they really want to achieve. Whether they want people should be compliant, whether they want that CA fraternity should go for a revenue audit. Then instead of asking a kind of 9C audit, they should assign a revenue audit to CA fraternity. That you really need to look at only the revenue part, nothing else. That is not the objective. Correct. So that is what I am saying, government is समटाइम मुझे लगता है कि वो 12th पास वाला बच्चा होता है ना, क्या करना है, सो मोस्टली ने कहा कि MBA कर लो, किसी ने कहा CA कर लो, तो सारे फार्म भर दिए एक साथ, जहां आ जाएगा वही कर लेंगे. गवर्नमेंट इज समटाइम बिहेविंग लाइक दैट चाइल्ड. Let's attempt everything. Wherever we will succeed, we will just move on.
That's what the hit and trial method.
Yeah.
जहां
So
success मिल जाए वहां पे चल.
You actually can't do that, and especially in case of multinational companies where you have a vision of 5 to 10 years.
Correct.
Right, and you are changing in such a fast pace. Absolutely. It gives a bad impression.
Right. And as an industry, like we all know that it's not just the tax compliance. We also have to see the business. So my tax compliance keeps me so occupied, like Shrey said, that my team is always, the tax team is always continuously working on the compliances and running behind this. We cannot take out time to add value to the organization where we are working.
Correct.
And sitting at such positions somewhere down the line, it just creates some point of a dissatisfaction to us as a professional. That what is it that we are doing? We are just doing a number crunching exercise and just running on the compliances and the audits, etc.
And on top of that, we have been classified as a cost center for company.
That's a biggest pain for all the back office people. They don't see that it's a long run revenue saving that you are doing. They just see that it's a cost center. So before we move on, sir, you want to add something? Dinesh, sir, you wanted to add something?
No, I'm good.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next section, I would just want to highlight what Shrey has pointed out, which I think it's a concern of every industry, people who are sitting at the top level, the management, that in case this provision of scrapping of the certification activity, it's not that the audit is being scrapped, only the certification activity is being scrapped. Somewhere at the back of the mind, what Shrey has pointed out, that the entire onus is being shifted from an expert to the management. Now, can this be a ground for the authorities that, see, I gave you a last opportunity to make the changes, still there was a mistake, and therefore there is a malified intention of doing this mistake, and I will hold you for the extended period and the fraud, etc. This is a concern which I'm also hearing from many of my clients personally, that by doing this, it is becoming more difficult for us to justify our position if we are doing certain certification and there is no third party involved. Then it's more critical for us as a management, and I don't know how people would want to work in this particular transaction.
No, certainly. I think. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, so in that case, will industry go for private audit kind of things like internal audit? So they'll need certification from some of the professionals. So at least they can save the skin. At least some outside professional was involved and he looked into all these things and he certified that also, though obviously that's not a mandate, but still. So that also industry,
I think that could be one of the approach with like we do in our normal transactions. When we take a call, we normally, if it's a difficult call, industry people, they go to the experts and take their opinions, and it's a paper in the file which we keep. That tomorrow if someone is coming and litigating my position, I can always say that it was not just my view, it was taken by an expert who has looked into the legal aspects, etc. So like Sir Rajiv sir, what you said, that this is one approach which possibly the industry can opt for, that even if it is not mandated by the statute, I will do an internal maker-checker model because I want to be compliant. I don't want to miss the bus and tomorrow department coming and sitting on my head and telling me that this was a malified transaction that you did. It will just give a comfort to the in-house management team also. Shrey, you wanted to add something?
No, I was actually about to say the same thing. And I think as an industry somewhere, the maker-checker rule is very important. The only, problem that I see with the internal audit or otherwise is that usually when you have a, start timeline to follow, I think the importance and the concentration that the team sort of allots to that particular activity is far more than in the case of any general audits that you usually have. So otherwise, any which ways, I think the size and the volume of the compliances are such that definitely you need a professional help to sort of lead you through all this that is required.
And practically also, Geetika, if I may add,
yes,
having an internal audit system in place, no respectable company misses out on this. But again, in the as Mr. Dinesh rightly pointed out, in the spurt of the moment, in the zest of maybe performing, we tend to lose sight of the warnings which the internal audit systems they give us. This happens, no, who cares in the government for the CAG? No one, until a big scam breaks open. So that is how it has always been, that in the heat of the moment, we miss out. And I may add that external audit was a kind of a dress rehearsal for everyone. The big performances before the taxation authority. So that rehearsal and that outsourcing part, you always had a shoulder to bank upon. Yes, he was my associate and he looked after. So all the questioning now is directed to the external auditor. But now what happens is the onus is on us. And Section 135 says presumption of culpable mental state. So those taxation authorities cannot help otherwise. They have to behave like this. They are statutorily, they have been told to presume the mens rea. So now the mens rea is presumed, and every officer in default is to be held accountable for any lapse or maybe any oversight. And you cannot take the plea of oversight in front of the department. It's always a fraud. So
correct. Ignorance of law is no defense.
Yeah.
Deepika, I just want to add here,
Yes, sir.
You said, like Shrey mentioned, that this is the last opportunity given by the authority and they may impose extended period of limitation stating that you have not corrected your mistake. Without the expert, my problem is I don't know what I don't know.
Correct.
Who's going to tell me that this is your mistake? Right? This is first point. Second, like Amitabh mentioned, and I fully strongly agree with him. Every company now, after a certain threshold, they have to have an internal financial control system. Right? And IFC is getting certified also. But how much conviction they will have to say to the management that you should reverse this credit or you should pay this GST amount as output tax liability? How much conviction will be there? No. Until unless there is a statutory obligation on the chartered accountant to certify something.
Certified. So it will become more. It will be more like a advisory piece, which you want to do, you don't want to do.
You end up taking a call.
Correct. So the ball is in your court.
This is my advice. I cannot take a business call on your behalf. You have to take a business call.
Absolutely.
I have already taken a call. That's why I did this. Now you
and tell me, sir. Yes. Sir, if I may add one more thing, if the government trusts us so much, then why have these audits? And
very rightly said, sir. If you have so much belief in the taxpayer that he himself will correct his mistakes, then no audit should be there.
I was very amused after reading this that 30,000 crores would be saved by the industry. If the government is so inclined of benefit or of extending this benefit to the industry, why not notify it? Why 1 month is now passed? Notify it. Let this section. Yeah.
After this news of 30,000 crore, I'm afraid, the government will pull out a data, how many, the GST audit a chartered accountant is performing, and there could be a raid at his office tomorrow.
At his office, yes. Very rightly put, yes.
So I think this is a never-ending topic. We can go on and on and on this. Let's move on to the next.
I just want to...
Yeah, Shubha. Sir?
I just want to highlight two inputs that I have received, interesting inputs in regards to audit from our audiences.
Yes.
One of our audience said the audit should also be conducted of the notices issued by department only if they issue notice. Someone says that excise and service tax also never had the concept of audits by professionals, so the scrapping is fine.
So they did have a concept of audit, but that was at the hands of officials, and this is going to happen with this law as well. Section 65 and 66, they have not died.
Correct.
So the auditors would be now the government department for us, and we would be at their mercy now, because you can make a statutory auditor understand the point, but you cannot make a government auditor understand.
Absolutely. So and it's like opening unnecessary litigation. Yeah. Maybe 9 and 9C was giving you one opportunity to make correct what wrong you have done. And so that you can save your time, money, efforts, and, getting into the litigation when the department officers come and sit. So if something that you have taken a call, of course, your consultant, your legal counsel will, stand by you and fight for the particular call that you have taken. But most of the times, and largely, the issues that come are because of the clerical mistakes. Someone has inadvertently taken a wrong credit. Someone has inadvertently calculated a wrong tax liability. So those are things which are still, the ball is in our court. We can make the amendments and move on in the life. Let only the critical issues be the point of contention before the court of law, and not these issues where that after 4 years, 3 years, you will end up paying taxes, and only thing that will add on to is the interest. In worst scenario, some authorities will also, impose penalty. Then you go to the court and till tribunal, you fight for the penalty. So this is something I think, if you look at it from a positive perspective, it was something which the government wanted to do in the benefit and interest of the taxpayers. But whatever may be the reasons, maybe the taxpayers are the best ones to decide whether they, even if this is, the certification is gone by, timelines will still be there. Government will not leave it at the discretion of the taxpayer to keep on deciding and finalizing it. There will be certain timelines within which it has to be done. Only thing is that a certification goes away. What Dinesh sir said, that what will be the binding force of an auditor when he's not signing. So then again, the onus is on the industry. Tomorrow, a consultant or a third person who has suggested you to make the changes, you still don't do it, then of course, either it is your call, then we have to be ready and face the department authorities. And
Ritika ma'am, I have a question for all of you.
Yeah.
Sachin, so if the audit cost gets reduced, whether the department issues notice for anti-profiteering, since the company is gaining benefit owing to the changes in GST. Interesting one.
No, that's a very creative thought actually. And I think we need, as an industry, we deserve this notice of anti-profiteering, that you're saving 30,000 crores collectively. So you reduce the product's cost, and no, that's a very, very creative thought actually.
Okay.
It's a never-ending debate. So
yes. I think I should move on to the next.